Candida Hub, and in this video we'll be talking about caprylic acid and its use for treating a yeast infection. Now, to begin with, I should say that research indicates that caprylic acid actually doesn't have much of any inhibitory action against Candida. It seems like most people who cite research just point to one study that was done on Candida to validate their claim that caprylic acid really does inhibit this yeast. However, this study wasn't done so well, and future research has shown very clearly that caprylic acid really does not have much inhibitory action against Candida. The study frequently cited to say caprylic acid is good to use as a yeast infection treatment was a 1961 study published in the Japanese Journal of Microbiology. The study never actually found the minimum inhibitory concentration of caprylic acid, and that means the lowest amount of a substance that will stop the growth of an organism. What the researchers in the study did do was measure the oxidation rate and the dehydrogenase activity of Candida. Now, this can be somewhat misleading because Candida doesn't always need oxygen to create energy. It can use anaerobic respiration, which means it doesn't use oxygen in its respiration processes. Based off its respiration, the researchers concluded that caprylic acid was inhibitory for Candida. Yet again, the study never found a minimum inhibitory concentration for this acid. It may have been an unusual species of yeast also used by the researchers in the study, because before 1995, all hyphal or germ tube growing strains of Candida were simply referred to as Candida albicans. So they may have been using an unusual strain of Candida in their studies. Another common study cited by people that say caprylic acid is good for Candida actually used sodium caprylate and not caprylic acid. So if you look at the studies these people sometimes cite, notice that one of them will probably be a study saying sodium caprylate, which is not caprylic acid, inhibits Candida. So that study is really irrelevant to this discussion. Two more recent studies both concur that caprylic acid has little or no inhibitory action against Candida. The first study that showed caprylic acid has little or no inhibitory effects against Candida was a 2001 study published in Antimicrobial Agents and Chemotherapy. Now, in this study, they did count colony-forming units, the number of cells that developed in the presence of various fatty acids. And the researchers found that caprylic acid was nearly identical to the control in the study in terms of its colony-forming units. So the control didn't have any fatty acids. It was just ordinary, normal Candida growth without any substance affecting it. And caprylic acid, Candida grew about as good as it did in the control. So there was really not much inhibitory action demonstrated by caprylic acid. Another study also demonstrated this. It was a 1972 study also published in Antimicrobial Agents and Chemotherapy. The study looked at 15 different fatty acids and determined their effects on Candida. The study found that capric, lauric, and myristic acid all inhibited Candida. However, caprylic acid was found not to be inhibitory at the concentrations used in the study. Coconut oil does contain caprylic acid. It has about 6 to 9% of its total volume being comprised of caprylic acid. Coconut oil also contains about 50% lauric acid and also contains myristic and capric acid as well. These three fatty acids are likely the primary reason why coconut oil has the ability to inhibit and kill Candida. So caprylic acid in coconut oil, it's really not the reason why it works. Well, in conclusion, caprylic acid does make a bad choice to use as a yeast infection treatment, and you should just avoid it. For more information about caprylic acid and yeast infections, you can check out the article on Candida Hub. The link is right below in the description. And you can also find out about a natural cure for yeast infections that will totally get rid of them in about 12 hours and stop recurrent yeast infections as well. Okay, hey, thanks so much for watching. See ya.